Hello everyone, welcome. I'm Nurzatil. I'm a senior lecturer from the Department of Science and Technology, and today I will introduce to you about the citizen science concept. Now, there are three objectives that we are going to achieve today. The first one is we want to understand what is the definition and the concept of citizen science. Second is to understand the role of citizen science in tackling the SDG issues. And thirdly is to explore some examples and also useful resources that has a list of citizen science projects for SDG issues. Now let's just look into a bit of history on how this citizen science emerged. Now, back then, in the very early 1900s, and even way before, these elite experts, perhaps nowadays we call them as the researchers or senior professors, now they were very synonymous to be being portrayed as those working in an ivory tower. What does this ivory tower means? So this ivory tower indicate that these elite experts, they work very isolated from the society, and hence that's the name of the ivory tower. Now, as the time passed by, we are now seeing the trend of a research project getting more involvement of the society, of the public in a particular project. And this is what we call as a citizen science project. Now, citizen science, what does it really mean? So it can be a wide range of activities in which people from all walks of life participate in a scientific project in a meaningful way. So what does meaningful way means? Now, often we see that humans, they participate in a project as, for example, a respondent to a survey questions. Or perhaps humans can be the subject in a medical experiment or any clinical trials. So this is not called as citizen science projects. So in a citizen science project, the public, they participate as a researcher. So they play a role as a researcher, helping the researchers to collect data to achieve the objectives of a project. Now, the earliest formal citizen science programs actually comes from the biodiversity discipline. And as you can see here, there are two quite concurrent earliest projects using this citizen science concept. They look into documenting the patterns of bird population and bird migration. And of course, back then, all these data collections were being done using pens and papers. Now, as the internet access becomes widespread, and of course, we have seen the rise of many sophisticated tools such as mobile apps, GPS, sensors, etc. All these are the tools that allow research data collection being documented and digitized on an online platform. And this is how the way of these citizen science projects being conducted evolves from time to time. Now, why these citizen science projects are very important in tackling SDG issues. Now, as you can see in this slide here, there are actually quite a number of types of data that are important for data collection to monitor and implement SDG goals. Of course, the common ones that we heard is, of course, the data from the authorities, like the ministries and government agencies, the national statistics, from the surveys or consensus, and of course, from the reports from the international organizations, such as World Bank or ECD and etc. But there's actually a subset of these data streams actually can come from citizens. And this is what we call as citizen-generated data. And this data actually can come from citizen science projects and also, of course, from any social media, for example. So these are the possible data streams that can be used to monitor and implement SDG goals. Now, there are 5 dimensions of citizen science data. And what I would like to highlight here is that how this citizen science data can can be very valuable for SDGs monitoring and implementation. Now let's look at this subset of temporal duration. What does that mean? All right, so temporal duration means that we need regular and continuous data that is well suited to SDGs. So how can we collect this data? And this is how we can actually leverage on the capacity and the capability of the citizens, of the public, to actually help to collect data from time to time. And another way of how citizen science can contribute is under the domain of thematic subject. So what does that mean? All right, so if you recall just now, I mentioned the earliest citizen science program is under biodiversity. Now that's just one discipline of many, many disciplines out there that can utilize the power of citizen scientists to collect data. And this is how we can actually leverage on citizen scientists to help contribute data collection in many disciplines, in addition to, like I mentioned, biodiversity. So other domains could be air monitoring, air quality, water quality, and many others. Now, how these citizen scientists, or we call it citizens, can play a role in citizen science project. Of course, first thing first is about building scientific knowledge. So as a citizen scientist contribute in data collection, they have helped the research project to get appropriate and interesting findings that help build this scientific knowledge. And on top of that, the participation of the citizen scientists actually encourage public action. Now, they are not just sitting there, but now they are becoming more engaged and more committed, especially towards achieving that SDG goals. And of course, by having the contribution of these citizen scientists towards the end, contributing the data, this actually could help the policymakers to make informed policy decisions towards SDG goals. Now, there are various roles of citizens in a citizen science project. The minimum is actually citizen scientists can participate as to collect data and to analyze data. But of course, to a certain extent, in certain projects, they can play a bigger role than just become contributory to data collection and analysis. And they can work collaboratively with the researchers to develop explanations, to do the design of the data collection methods up to the data analysis. Now, the bigger role than this, perhaps the greatest contribution by the citizen scientists, is when these citizen scientists can co-create with the researchers. From the very beginning, they can co-create with the researchers by together defining a question or issue that needs to be tackled. And following that, it goes downstream towards results, discussion, and further inquiry. So in a nutshell, citizens can participate in citizen science projects in varying degrees of involvement. Of course, there are many reasons why citizens would like to participate in citizen science projects. Normally, citizen science projects are pretty much, the participation is pretty much voluntarily. So there's no incentives being given to the citizen scientists when they contribute to the citizen science projects. And all these are motivated by the desire to contribute, the interest to in the project, or even to learn new skills. And I think more importantly is by the opportunity to learn and to advance their careers. So there are many, many motives and factors that drive citizens to join this in these citizen science projects. So there are actually many projects out there that can have citizens or the public to be part of it. And they are from various disciplines. We talk a lot about biodiversity. We talk a lot about climate, like air or water quality. But there are also other domains like arts, social sciences, history, physics, space, biology, and etc. Now, this is quite just a short list from many, many other lists out there that you can find it on the internet. A list of that documents various resources of citizen science projects. So we have BioCollect, iNaturalist, eBird, SeedSci.org, Zuniverse, and many others. And you can feel free to browse these websites. These are the excellent resources that you can use to learn what are the available citizen science projects out there. And perhaps you may also join these projects and become a citizen scientist. Now, more importantly for you to learn is actually to start or initiate a citizen science project. How you, as a public, as a citizen, how you can start a project, or how you can identify what is relevant issues that need to be addressed, especially we are talking about in the context of SDG goals. First thing first, what you can do is you can read local or community news. Second, perhaps you can do some surveys with the public in your neighborhood. But of course, not everyone likes to answer surveys, but that could be an option. Second, you can leverage on the power of social media. You can follow local community groups, social media from Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, X platforms, and many others. And you may also visit any local businesses, libraries, and many other resources that are accessible to you. So use these resources wisely to, if you're interested, to initiate a citizen science project at your place. Now, I'm going to leave this video to you. This is an excellent example of how citizens can be utilized, I would say. I mean, they contributed a lot in this project, and how they actually map the impact of an oil spill at Gowanus Canal and help to monitor the air quality in communities. I hope this video is very interesting for you, and definitely I will encourage you to learn more and more and participate in citizen science. Above all, what we all want to do is we want to contribute towards the achievement of these SDG goals. Thank you so much and have a nice day.